Welcome to the TPC desktop video series on getting started. In this video, we're going to take a look at checking our closure. In the last video, we entered this lot data. We created a traverse for it called deed data. We entered the courses for this starting at 10,000, 10,000. And I'm going to put up the lot name here just by double-clicking anything that's actually drawn here, a line or a label. Let's go to lot labels. Let's tell Traverse PC we want the name, the square feet, and the acres, and choose OK. So now we've got deed data, the square feet and acres in our drawing here. We want to take a look at checking the closure for this traverse. We entered all of the traverse data, so we have all that data still here. And I'm going to close that out and highlight the deed data and come up to our Windows Manager, and here's the closure view. So I can choose it from the menu. It's also available right here from the navigation bar. And it says open the closure view for the highlighted traverse, which is the deed data. So let's go ahead and open that closure view and just bring it over here where we can see it. Let's stop for a minute and just look here. The closure view is really a snapshot. It's a snapshot of the traverse as it exists right now. So I've got the date, I've got the units, I know I'm working in grid distance, grid bearing, and then I've got a traverse summary here that repeats for me the same areas that I've got here, the 44,014 square feet, 1.01 acres. Gives me some information about it being a closed loop and how many points are in it. Then I come down and I've got an error summary, which tells me my linear error and whether or not I closed on that one. Remember, I was just entering information off of a deed, and then some information about my closing points down here. I'll remove that rectangular limit since we don't need to have that. We're not doing PLSS stuff here. Now, I want you to notice that Traverse PC told us this is a closed loop. And because it's a closed loop, it computed an area. If this had been a closed point-to-point or an open traverse, like a center line alignment, I wouldn't get an area for it. I get an area because it's a closed loop. Well, Traverse PC set this automatically for me based on something called the tolerance. So I'm going to open my program settings, and I'm going to click on the tolerance tab. And I want you to notice this number right here, this closed loop. This tells Traverse PC that if I enter a traverse and I come back or close back on the start of that traverse within 1% of the total distance, so my linear error, the amount of misclosure, is within 1% of the total distance around that traverse, go ahead and call it a closed loop. So this is something that happens automatically for me for this traverse. And if I were to come up and edit the closure settings, I would see that Traverse PC had automatically set that to a closed loop for me. So it's just a nice little thing that Traverse PC does, and just keeps me from having to set that setting for each traverse as I enter it. Now, because this is a getting started video, I want to just real quickly introduce you to a couple of things that you might do and things to look for here inside of this. I want you to notice that the traverse summary in the closure view has given me my areas. And I'm also seeing those areas in the drawing because I told it to label that lot. I want to show you a third way we can display the area of this lot. And I'm also going to include the linear error as well. Let's come back to our Traverse Manager and let's use that format view. Remember we did this in the Traverse view to change the columns? I'm going to do it in this view to change the information I'm displaying. And I'm going to change this to NAE pound. So the A is acres, the E is linear error, and the pound is simply the number of points in there. So now Traverse PC has said, I've got 1.01 acres in this traverse and a linear error of 0.01 feet. So I get the same information in the Traverse Manager that I have in the closure view and the drawing view. That's just really a neat way to see how Traverse PC exposes the same survey data differently in each of the views. And it's really kind of your preference as to how you want to keep track of those and which views you want to use to check for area and check for closure. Now, the next thing I want to do here just real quick is introduce you to adjusting a traverse, balancing coordinates, and raw data, displaying raw data. So I'm going to come into the traverse view and I'm going to say I want to balance coordinates and just get rid of that linear error. So notice the square feet in acres, 44,014.39. I'm going to balance coordinates using the compass rule. I'll leave the elevations turned on. And now my area has changed just slightly. Okay. If I come back to the drawing view and simply refresh that, okay, I see it redraws with the current area. And if I come back to my traverse manager and just open this up a little bit, I see that Traverse PC updates the area as well. Now I'm not seeing the change here in the acres because I didn't change it that much. But if I came in here and included square feet, I would. So let's put B in there for square feet. And now Traverse PC comes in and displays the same square feet here, 44,012.99, that I have in the closure view. And if I want to show that same acreage here, I can simply come in, double click, go to the square feet, and say I want X number of decimal places so that it matches what I show elsewhere. So a great way to keep all of this data coordinated. Now, the last thing I want to show you in this video is I want to go back to our D data traverse, and I want to show you that I now am looking at the adjusted data. So this distance of 163.5 has been adjusted. This distance of 291.03 has been adjusted. These bearings have been adjusted. Okay. These are now the inverses between the adjusted coordinates for that lot. I want you to know, however, that all of the raw data that I entered is still there. And I can switch between raw data and inverses with this command, Shift F9, or display raw data in the view menu. So let's go ahead and execute that. And do you see here are all my original bearings with 0 seconds? Here are my original distances. I'm just going to press Shift F9 again, and I'm back to my inverses. When I display raw data, I only see the data I entered. So I only see the coordinates I started with, the curve data, the courses, bearings, and distances I entered. When I Shift 9 and display inverses, which is the normal mode, I see all the computed data as well. And then I just want to show you very quickly that I can come back anytime, undo the adjustments, and Traverse PC puts me right back where I was a moment ago, okay, with all of my original data. And I can simply come back to the drawing view, and the next time I refresh it, I have my unadjusted areas, and back in my Traverse Manager, I have my unadjusted areas. So really a neat way to work with data, whether I'm correcting the number that I've entered, Traverse PC lets me do that, or if I've come in and adjusted something and I don't like the way it turned out, I simply unadjust it, and all my raw data is there to recompute that traverse.